Hi, I'm Tom Chick. Let's do another game of Raxxon. The first game with the mayor, Brian Lee, and Dr. Olivia Brown didn't work out so well. And not just for Brian Lee's mom. We have 4 characters left. Here they are. I will roll a D4. I should get a D4. Who has a D4 handy? Nobody. Let's re-roll a 5 or 6. 1, K.D. James, author of 50 Shades of Grey, who is now moonlighting as the head of the CDC. And one of these 3. Thomas Hart, Colonel Lieutenant Thomas Hart. I gave him a promotion. You know what, Thomas Hart, let's see how you do with this mission, and then we'll talk about giving you your colonel epaulets or whatever a colonel gets. All right, first player will be K.D. James. Her special ability is Raxxon funding. She can use that to take a counter off of another player's card, which can be super handy. And Thomas Hart is, of course, good at airstriking, as you might imagine, but his ability to enforce curfew, not enforce curfew, that doesn't help anyone, lets him choose a row or column in the crowd, shuffle the cards together face down, and put them back on the population draw pile. Speaking of the population draw pile, we have it here. It is 30 healthy cards, 15 infected. We'll put that there. And then we have these 15 infected, which are supply. We'll put our infection supply over there. All right, day 1, the crowd is restless. They want to get evacuated. They want to get separated from these gross infected zombies. So K.D. James, author of 50 Shades of Grey, shows up and she investigates and reveals a hostile. Lieutenant Thomas Hart investigates. We now must flip a third one. Who shuffled these? All right, K.D. James, let's get an evac going, right? Actually, we want Thomas Hart to evacuate. Let's investigate. Let's start right here. All right, that was risky. I could have ended the day, but I was foolish/confident. Thomas Hart will evacuate these 3 hostiles. Melissa Gupta, Louise Martinez, and Chris Matthews. What a bunch of jerks. All right, so they're now in evac. K.D. James will investigate. Selena Rodriguez almost shut the day down for us. Haha. Thomas Hart must flip 1 as a consequence. Chaotic means we add 1. Can we get a row of 4? I think we can. I think we can do it. For his action, he will investigate. Another volatile means we add that. K.D. James will do a steady quarantine. Move 3 face-up cards from the 3 face-up cards from the crowd or the uncontained quarantine pile. Oh shoot, I was thinking, well, you know what, we're gonna do that anyway. Thomas Hart must flip a card. Hello, Forest Plum. And for his action, he will investigate. Hello, Gareth Meredith and your family. K.D. James must add a card. It must be touching 2 cards, so it will go there. And she must resolve a Raxxon card. Our first Raxxon card is The Helper, Part 2. Part 1 is not in play, so that is not triggered. For her action, she will investigate. Thomas Hart must flip 1. And then a chaotic adds 1. For his action, he will do some aggressive crowd control. Aggressive crowd control is swapping any 2 cards. And then if we want to resolve a Raxxon card, we can flip a card face down. Yeah, because I think we're going to keep running with it for a while. All right, so that's face down. Raxxon's accusations. This moves up. A card escapes from quarantine, and that's out of play. This is shuffled back into the Raxxon deck. move that marker there. Katie James must add 1. She must resolve a Raxxon card. Conspiracy Part 2. Part 1 is not in play. It was in our last game. She will investigate. Oh, good. Thomas Hart must flip a card up. We know that's a carrier. A hostile, and there are 2 in play, so we must flip this up. He will quarantine. To move these 2 here, and he will resolve a Raxxon card to move that there. Insta-test, if there are 3 or more cards face up in the crowd. Hey, we've been using the new Raxxon Insta-test device on the crowd all day, but I swear, the results are the opposite of what you'd expect. Option 2 is we can say, what are you, a scientist now? Just report the results, don't be an idiot. And then we add to Raxxon power, and this is out of play. Option 1, which we're going to do, yeah, you better not trust it. Let's reset testing without the gadget. Flip all the cards face down, and then shuffle it into successive rows of 3. And then that's out of play. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and I believe that was 3 hostile. I'm going to check. 3 hostiles and 2 hostiles and 3 non-hostiles. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, Katie James must add 1. Actually, that's the one that we know. She must resolve a Raxxon card. The Innocent Part 2. Part 1 is not in play. She will investigate. Thomas Hart must flip 1. He must flip another 1. He must resolve a Raxxon card. Better off dead if Raxxon's power is 2 or greater, which it's not. And then he must flip 1. Thomas Hart will investigate, right? Let's see, investigate, and then she can do an evac. Yes. Well, she's adding a card. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's get these flipped up, and then that flips that. All right, so she adds 1. She does a Raxxon card. The helper, if a non-hostile healthy card is face up in the crowd, and there are 1 or more in the uncontained quarantine. There aren't, so that does not resolve. All right, we can't go flipping willy-nilly because there's still plenty of hostiles in play, and a 4th hostile would end the game. So if that's hostile, it would end the day, not the game. So she is going to do an evac on this group here. That's 5 hostiles in 1 family. Thomas must flip 1. A chaotic means we add 1. He must flip 1. Another hostile means we flip 1, but there isn't 1 to flip. We draw a Raxxon card. Unruly, if there are 2 or more hostiles face up in the crowd. There are. What do we want? Freedom. When do we want it? Now. The crowd's no longer just upset. They're organized. You empathize, but it's not going to be easy to control them without Raxxon's chemical resources. So option 1 is all players must place 1 action token on their crowd control space. And option 2 is use pepper spray, the new stuff we just made that's technically non-lethal. Thanks, Raxxon. You can turn all hostile cards face down and then move this up 1. We're not going to do that. We are going to deal with the crowd, which requires that and that, which I'm okay with. And now, flip, flip, but there are none to be flipped. So, she's going to add 1, so even if we get rid of this, 1 will go right there. So let's do crowd control. Boop. And now we could flip a card face down, but I don't want to because I don't want that coming on. Then, well, you know what? No, it won't matter. We're going to leave that there. Well, she's going to... Because if she deals out... Yeah, we're going to leave that there. We're not going to flip 1 face down. All right, so KD James must resolve a Raxxon card. KD James, if she's in the game and she has 2 or more action tokens, which she does on her sheet, the Raxxon representative is empathetic. KD, we know you're the best at writing erotic fiction for adults that normalizes the BDSM kink. We know that about you, KD James. But anyone can see you're overloaded here. Let us help you. Let us solve this problem together, KD James. The player who controls KD James makes the following choice. Option 1, you can certainly use the resources, but Raxxon can't be trusted. Do nothing. Option 2, move this power up, and KD may remove up to 3 tokens from her sheet. That is kind of tempting, but we're not going to do it. We're going to do nothing, and this is out of play. All right. She now, where was that from? That was this, right? Yeah, and okay, now she now adds 1. Has to go there. She now resolves another Raxxon card. Raxxon's power, that moves up. A card escapes quarantine, and then these are shuffled back into the deck. And then she must flip a card, which, I can tell you right now, is going to be this one. All right. All right, and then on her turn, she will do an evac, right? Yeah, she's definitely going to evacuate these folks. So, Forrest Plum, Janet Taylor, and Lily May and Derek Yoshida, the hostiles. So basically half of the hostiles are out of the way. Thomas Hart must flip 1. There isn't one to flip. He must flip 1. He must resolve a Raxxon card. DNA, you report to the quarantine facility. New policy, all those entering the facility must be verified with a finger prick blood sample. Option 1, you're not pricking my finger. The player who drew this card may not use quarantine actions for the rest of the day. Place this card in the untriggered pile. Or option 2, yeah, sure, prick my finger, I get it, security is important, and Raxxon power moves up. We are not going to accept that. It's going in the untriggered pile, and no more quarantines for Thomas Hart, who will instead, I guess airstrike the chaotic and then rescue that hostile. Let's see, it's going to add 1 more card. The thing is, do I want to airstrike the hostile and just call it a day? Nope, let's do a targeted airstrike. Airstrike the chaotic, right? So it's over to KD James' turn. She is passing back over to Thomas Hart. He must flip 1. We come down here. He adds 1. He must flip 1. He does this card, resolves this Raxxon card. Optimism, if there's no infected or hostile face up. There are, it's not triggered. So airstrike again. So I think we can get lucky with all these flipping up. Let's do it. All right, so flip a card, add a card, flip a card, shoot, resolve a Raxxon card, Mineral Wolf Part 2, Part 1 is not in play, flip, 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 they're all face up, so I guess another airstrike, right? Well, shoot, okay, now we're gonna get in a situation where, yeah, we don't wanna spread infection, so I guess just evac here, then airstrike whoever's next, hope it's not someone healthy. That would be stupid. So let's basically investigate, which means do nothing, and then let this execute once more, right? So flip, add a card. Do I want to go in a row? Add another card. Reveal a card. Okay, good. Raxxon card. Raxxon's promises, this moves up. A card escapes quarantine. Let's move out a carrier. And these are shuffled back in. And then he's got to flip 3 cards, which means that. Another carrier, so we resolve a Raxxon card. Raxxon's pressure. This moves up. One of these escapes. This might be foolish, but just to get people out, we can't do crowd control anymore. I mean, at this point, there's only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, these were added, so... No, those were airstrikes. 7, there's only... All right, we're going to take a gamble. We're going to airstrike these 2. All right, so flip 1, so add 3 cards. So let's go 1, 2, 3. And I'm banking on all of these being healthy. That's really foolish though, isn't it? Maybe we should hedge our bets and put one of them like that. You know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm putting them all, I'm doing that. I just feel like there are 5, there's only 5 infected cards in here. There are things I can do, so I'm doing that. All right, so we flip 1. Good, we have to flip another. Good, and we have to resolve a Raxxon card. Oh shoot, it could end the day. That's what I wasn't thinking of. All right, well, we'll see. We have to resolve a Raxxon card. Brian Lee, part 2. Part 1 is not in play. Now we have to flip up. Come on. Dagnabbit. Oh, shoot a monkey. All right, well, at least we didn't take any infection. But that would have been an awesome evac. So that and these are going to be shuffled back into the population. I mean, we got half the hostiles out in the first day. I'm okay with that. And then these move over here to uncontained. Oh, those stupid hostiles. All right, these all come off. Player 1 moves over to Thomas Hart. Let's deal out our crowd. All right, Thomas Hart, investigate. Katie James, investigate. Thomas Hart, investigate. Katie James, investigate. Chaotic means we add 1. Thomas Hart, investigate. Katie James, investigate. Thomas Hart, investigate. It's going to add an infection. Let's do aggressive crowd control. We'll do this. And we may flip a face-up card face down. If we resolve this Raxxon card. The innocent, part 1, if an innocent is face up, there is not one. Katie James will investigate. So we add 2. We must flip 1, so please don't be a chaotic. All right, perfect. And let's do aggressive crowd control. Flip these 2. And flip this face down. Better off dead. If Raxxon's power is 2 or greater, it is... Why is it so high? Is 2 or greater, and there's at least 1 face-up hostile in the crowd. Hey man, I've been to the quarantine facility. My friends are in there, but they're not being helped. They're being tortured, man. They'd be better off dead. That was close. You can tell how many times I've read these cards. They're being tortured. Better they die than suffer like this. The card is called Better Off Dead. Option 1, do nothing. The citizens gain credibility and a voice. People become afraid. No players may use quarantine actions for the rest of the day. Shoot. Or option 2 is a show of force shuts them up. Shuffle a hostile card into the population, draw a pile. Shut down a whole day of quarantines. I mean, worse things could happen. Just spend the day like airstriking, right? Yeah, let's do it. We weren't making it. It's not like... Shoot, we're going to do it. We're going to do nothing. We're going to shut down quarantines for the rest of the day. That's all right. It's really going to be painful. But that's okay. That's what I'm doing. All right. Nice work, Thomas Hart. Katie James. I mean, there's no hurry getting that evacuation going, right? This is kind of an issue, is he's going to have to flip up 2 cards. This is a little scary. So we do have it set up fine. So we're going to do a medicinal attack, kill 1 card, and then if we resolve a Raxxon card, we can kill all adjacent cards. So these are all kilt, and the Raxxon card we resolve. DNA, if Raxxon's power is 1 or greater. So this is the blood prick thing, and I am not taking a blood prick. The player who drew this card can't do quarantine actions anymore this day because they refuse to be finger pricked. All right, so that goes there. Thomas Hart has to flip 2. So 1 and 2. Good. Let's do an evac here. So that hostile and these 2 innocents. Katie James must add a card. It has to go there. He's just going to do a ton of revealing. Does she want to do her evac now? I mean, they're not... Yeah, there's no hurry to do the evac. She's still looking good, so let's just investigate. All right, Thomas Hart has to flip 1 up. There are 2 carriers now, so the innocent part 2, part 1 is not in play. So for his action, I guess a targeted airstrike. Katie James must add 1. All right, so let's investigate. All right, Thomas Hart has to flip. He has to add 1. He has to flip 2. Chaotic, add 1. Let's put that there. Flip 1. An innocent. And then he's going to do crowd control. Flip. Swap these 2. Katie James has to add 1. It must go here. She will investigate. Thomas Hart has to flip 1. He has to add 1, which must go here. Now he must flip 3. There's only 1 to flip up. Another one gets flipped, but there's no more to flip. So he will airstrike. So choose a card in the crowd, kill that and any adjacents you want. That is the good thing about his airstrike, is it's not a whole row or column. It's not limited to 1 card and you pay for the extras. It's just it's a targeted airstrike, and then you can kill any adjacents you feel like. Katie James has to add 1. I'll do that. And then she will investigate. All right. Thomas Hart flips 1. He has to add 2. So it's going to be like that. He must flip both of them. 1. All right, shoot. Don't be another. Dagnabbit. Oh. So angry. Shoot a dang monkey. Oh, those hostiles. This was such a perfect opportunity. Ugh. I mean, I guess I got greedy, but it just seemed, shoot a dang monkey. Ugh, all right, well, it's one infection. Dagnabbit. Oh, come on. Stupid cards. Stupid hostile citizens are just... Why can't they make it easier to deal with an outbreak of infectious disease? Oh, and these also get shuffled in. Not much of a quarantine going. All right, these markers are removed. It's day 3, so Katie James is our first player. Deal out our crowd. All right, Katie James investigates. Thomas Hart investigates. Katie James, come up the middle, investigate. Thomas Hart, I don't know why, investigate. Katie James, investigate. Add 1. Thomas Hart, investigate. Add 2. You have to go like that. Katie James, quarantine. 1, 2, 3. Thomas Hart, investigate. Katie James has to add 1. It's touching 3 cards. It has to go there. She must resolve a Raxxon card. The helper, if a non-hostile card is face up and there are 3 or more cards in the uncontained quarantine. Nobody, we don't need any help. And then she will investigate, which means we flip up another one. All right, Thomas Hart. I mean, let's just get these out of here. So we're going to evacuate this row. Innocents, so there are no more innocents left. Katie James has to add 1. Let's put it there. She must resolve a Raxxon card. Let me move these down. Raxxon schemes. 1 escapes the quarantine. On a chaotic out. Yes. These are shuffled back in. All right, she will investigate. Thomas Hart must flip 1. He will investigate. Katie James must add 1. She must resolve a Raxxon card. Susceptibility, if there's a face-up susceptible in the crowd, there is not. She will quarantine 1, 2, 3. Thomas Hart must flip 1. We must add 1. He will investigate. Katie James must add 1. It has to go here. And then she'll have to resolve 2 Raxxon cards. The first is Friends Forever. If there's a familiar face up in the crowd, a close friend confides in you. That's Mike Cho, the ninja. He says, one of them caught me by surprise around the corner. I don't know who to tell, but I can trust you, right? Would you look at my leg? How does it look? You're unsure what to say about the oozing bite wound. Yeah, Option 1, better safe than sorry. Move the familiar to the quarantine area. It's considered out of the game and you don't need to move it to the evac pile to win. Or option 2, do nothing. So either way, this is triggered, which is setting it up for part 2 to kick in. Let's do nothing because then it won't come back to bite us. Literally, haha. All right. So that's the first of the 2 Raxxon cards she'll have to resolve. The second one is spokesperson. If there's a celebrity face up in the crowd, it's Nadia Rivers. Oh, Nadia. That's new me. Learn names, Tom. Nadia Rivers. She's a celebrity. She's done so much for us as a Sumatran spokesperson. We need to move them out of the city to speak on the airwaves, to give hope to the masses. Option 1, fine. Let them have their girl. One less thing to worry about. Move the celebrity to the evac pile. Sounds great, right? Option 2 is you put your foot down, no special treatment. The celebrity raises a ruckus. Put the card in the untriggered Raxxon pile, add 2, and then flip 1 up. I think we can add 2 and flip 1 up. Yeah, so that goes there. We add 1 and 2, and then we flip 1 up. We'll flip this one up. Perfect. All right, and we will now evac. Celebrity, a second familiar is out. Family. So let's see. Nope, there's not. So you're not safe till all the family is out, because there's a card that makes family go back in, and then the hostile. All right, so that's 10 hostiles out of the mix. All right, Thomas Hart must flip 1. And then he will investigate. What am I feeling here? Okay. Katie James must resolve a Raxxon card. Mom, part 1, if there's at least 1 carrier in quarantine. So this is what happened to Brian Lee. Everybody's mom gets bit in this game. Happened to Brian Lee last game. Katie James's mom comes up and she's in quarantine. She wants special treatment to get out because, you know, your daughter is the head of the CDC. Of course you go to her. So does Katie James say, hey, let's get you out of here and move a carrier from the quarantine to the discard pile? Or does she say, sorry, Mom, it's for your own good, Raxxon will help, and then this is untriggered? I'm so nervous about moving this up, so we're not going to do that. We're going to move this to the population discard pile. All right, Katie James must add a card. Let's do that. She now must resolve 2 more Raxxon cards. Raxxon's lies. Dadnabbit. Ugh. These are shuffled back in. And 1 card escapes quarantine. All right, her second Raxxon card. Brian Lee, part 2. Part 1 is not in play, and Brian Lee isn't even in play. So she will investigate, which causes infection. Thomas Hart must flip a card, and he will quarantine 1, 2, and a third if he plays this. The helper, part 2, part 1 is not in play. All right, Katie James has to resolve a ton of these. 1, Brian Lee, part 1. Brian Lee, not in play. She must add a card. It must go here. She must resolve a Raxxon card. Susceptibility. There is a face-up susceptible. Raxxon is offering samples of an experimental treatment. If we take them up on it, option 1 is... if we take them up on it, then we give them point of power. We can't do that. So... taking a chance on another Raxxon drug isn't worth it. Kill a face-up susceptible, and then place this card in the untriggered Raxxon pile. So because we killed a susceptible, it causes infection, and the result of the card causes infection. Shoot, and then 1 more Raxxon card. Spokesperson part 1, there's the same, dadgummit, the same thing. So add 2 and flip 1. 1, 1, and then we're flipping this. All right, Katie James will investigate, which means we add 1. She will then add 1 and 2 Raxxon cards. Olivia Brown Part 2. Part 1 is not in play. Neither is Olivia Brown. And Friends Forever Part 2. If Friends Forever Part 1 is in the triggered Raxxon pile. Condition 1. If a healthy card was moved near the quarantine, then read and resolve the following. You watch as your friend's condition worsens, and Raxxon gets a point of power. But that didn't happen. If a healthy card was not removed, you recognize your friend in the crowd. That same charming face, but twisted and molting in some dead mockery of what he was. If only you hadn't made the hard choice. So it causes 2 infection. 1, 2. All right. She will investigate. Investigate. All right, good. Thomas Hart must flip a card. 1. Ah, shoot, now we've got to add 2. 1 and 2. He must flip another card. Come on, yes. And he must resolve a Raxxon card. Spokesperson Part 2. Part 1 is not in play. So he will do aggressive crowd control. Oh, shoot, no he won't. We need another friendly. He will quarantine. Yep, so 1, 2, 3. We must resolve this. Gabriel Diaz is not in play. All right, Katie James must resolve a Raxxon card. The Innocent Part 1, there are no Innocent in play. She must add a card, which must go here. And then 2 Raxxon cards. Meryl Wolf Part 2 and Raxxon's Propaganda. Dagnabbit. All right. So 1 card escapes. Let's send the chaotic out. These are shuffled back together. 1 more Raxxon card. The Innocent Part 2, Part 1 not in play. All right, Katie James is going to do Raxxon funding. Choose a player other than yourself and remove one of their action tokens. All right, Thomas Hart must flip 1. Dagnabbit. He must resolve a Raxxon card. Thomas Hart. Shoot. Raxxon's power is 3 or greater, which it is, if Thomas Hart is in the game, and if there are at least 6 cards in the crowd, which there are. Military contacts radio in. Our priority is stunting the spread of the infection. We can't give Raxxon any more leverage. We're taking out the crowd. All of them. Get the hell out of there and then try tomorrow. The player who controls Thomas Hart makes the following decision. Option 1, roger that, sir. Kill the entire crowd, triggering all of these effects as normal, and then immediately proceed to the end of the day. So actually, yeah, it would add 2 cards, which would increase the infection. So that's not good. Oh, we can't do that. We shoot a monkey. We have to kill the entire crowd and end the day. Stupid military. Ugh, well, I have no choice. I could throw the game at this point. So we kill the entire crowd. All right, well, that's good. We only take 3. Well, okay, so we're adding 2 cards. 1, yeah, so we're taking all 4 infected. Move all family cards from the evac pile to the population discard pile. And the active player passes. That's it. It's the end of the day. Dagnabbit. So 4 infection added. Oh, God, I had such a great evac setup. And this is triggered. All right, so there's the crowd. There's the rest of the draw pile. There's the discard pile. These are the uncontained quarantine. That's there. Shoot, we lost the family. This is really, at this point, I have way too many cards to get out. Well, 10 cards, it's possible. You know what? I can do it. I can get 10 cards out without triggering a Raxxon power. I'm calling it right now. I'm like Hank Aaron pointing the baseball bat over the home plate, signaling he's going to get a homer. Here I am. I'm going to get all 10 people out this next day. Watch this. All right. There's the city pile that doesn't. So player 1 goes over to Thomas Hart. These are removed. Katie James's mom is out there somewhere. And here's our crowd. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, Thomas Hart, investigate. Katie James, we had 1. Investigate. Thomas Hart. Actually, I did that wrong. Investigate. Katie James, investigate. Flip another. Do a Raxxon card. Brian Lee, part 1. He's not in play. Thomas Hart. Shoot, I can't be quarantining yet if I'm going to try to resolve this today. Yeah, there are no carriers in the quarantine, so there's 8 more of them out there somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to quarantine. All right, I'm resolving one of these. Injection, if Raxxon's power is 2 or greater. Shoot. All right, so Thomas Hart, because I can't do option 2, can't quarantine anymore today. He got in his 1 quarantine. That's okay, he's going to be airstriking. Katie James, investigate. Add 1. Thomas Hart has to flip 1. And must resolve a Raxxon card. Conspiracy part 2. Part 1 is not in play, fortunately. Investigate. Katie James is going to do a medicinal attack to kill this card and then all adjacents. She has to resolve this to do that. The helper part 2. Part 1 is not in play. Thomas Hart must flip a card. He must resolve a Raxxon card. And that's the game. Dagnabbit. Man, that one wasn't even close. I never used this once, which I probably... There are times that would have helped me. You know what? When I had those 5-card evacuations set up, this would have bought me time, maybe, to manage the cards that weren't going to be evacuated. I don't know. That's tough. Man, I don't know if I'm making this game look harder than it is, or I promise I've actually won this before. I have. All right, so that was game 2, our second loss. That means our next game will be, Gabriel Diaz. He's a lot of fun. I have a much easier time with him, and Meryl Wolf, the journalist. Let's see how they do. Join me for the next game. Thanks for watching the first 2, and here we go. Let's see how the next one goes. Oh, shoot a monkey. Ugh.